following the suspension and the imminent sack of the former acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mr. Ibrahim Magu. Many stories have been sponsored in different media. Most of them outright lies, some concoctions, and a hodgepodge of deliberate falsehood, dirty imaginations, and misdirected vengeful attacks. Whichever way, any story built on lies cannot stand against people of proven integrity. The first group of these people not only aim to rubbish the determination of President Muhammadu Buhari to rid the country of systemic corruption, but also to destabilize his government so that an eventual takeover is guaranteed by any means outside the constitutional means. They began by insinuating that if Magu is guilty of corruption, it means the president has altogether lost it. In fact, they claim that by the government allowing him to stay this long, it means the anti-corruption fight is a charity. But this notion is laughable, because it is the same government of Buhari that is probing him now. But we shall deal with all these points very diligently in the course of events. Another group has focused their attention on the Star Chief Law Officer of the Federation, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Mr. Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Their own antics are infantile, comical, and full of deletions that one is forced to pity them. You may have seen a building which they claim that Mr. Malami built for his son, and you may have read of other properties which they unsuccessfully tried to link to Mr. Malami. These have all been found to be nothing other than merchandise in falsehood and tissues of lies that cannot stand the weight of proven integrity and investigations. Now, one will wonder, what is Mr. Malami's sin or offense? There may be too many, but we will share with you some of the notable sins for which these individuals seek to probe or to ridicule Mr. Malami and by extension the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. 1. Malami is one of those who is close to the president as a genuine advocate of the anti-corruption war. He understands clearly what the vision of President Muhammadu is and does everything within the precincts of the law to actualize this vision in the interest of all Nigerians. 2. Consequent upon point 1 above, when the All Progressives Congress, APC, was headed to an avoidable crisis with litigations everywhere, Mr. President, in his capacity as the authentic leader of the party, announced his endorsement of a National Executive Committee meeting. According to him, he has sought the highest legal opinion. That legal opinion is now credited to the Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Malami. Now, we there add here that if it was Malami alone that gave the president that legal opinion, he gave a very correct legal advice. The APC should remain grateful to him for such a sound advice. Even though we are not partisan, we are interested in the political stability and peace of our dear nation, Nigeria. 3. Following point 2 above, the National Working Committee was dissolved. We are aware that those that the party leadership was working for are still very unhappy with that move. And since there is a limit to how they can vent their anger on President Muhammadu Buhari directly, they have chosen to unleash all their venom on the Attorney General of the Federation, and by extension, to rub it on Mr. President. Number 4. While the party issue was a matter of subtle plots and psychological combat, the probe of Mr. Ibrahim Magu, which has opened unbelievable cans of worms, began. Remember that it was Mr. Malami, in his capacity as the Chief Law Officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that insisted, following intelligence report, that Magu should be probed thoroughly. This has angered some powerful quarters who benefited from the fiendish acts of corruption, malfeasance, looting of public treasury, and covering up of all negative acts. There are people who Magu appeared to have worked for, other than the president and the masses of Nigeria and the country as a whole. To these people, Malami is an eternal enemy for doing his job patriotically and in the interest of the overall Nigerian nation. Number 6, there is another group that believe that their political ambitions for 2023, which they place above the interest of the nation, can no longer be achieved. They believe that their ambitions have been fractured or scuttled by a simple, correct legal advice by the Attorney General of the Federation to Mr. President. We urge this group of people to toe the path of reason and do what is right instead. And so when you begin to hear about those lies, spurious allegations, and smear campaigns, these are some of the reasons that fuel these concerted campaign to blackmail the Attorney General of the Federation and by extension the President. A man was given a job by someone who has faith in him. That man is doing that job honestly and without regard to whose ox is God. And some people who feel powerful are doing everything to dent his image and intimidate him. We, the Nigerian youth, will say a big no to that, because we do not want corruption to